The mystery surrounding Kurt Cobain's death has resurfaced. There are documents that have now been published by the New York Post, which show there's not too long after Kurt Cobain died. And remember, the authorities up in Seattle said it was a suicide, that he shot himself in the greenhouse of the home that he shared with his wife, Courtney Love, and that they said it was a suicide, open and shut. Many years later, still, there are a lot of people who don't think Kurt Cobain's death was a suicide. There are people who believe it was foul play. There are some people who believe that he may have died of a heroin overdose at the hands of someone else, and that someone else may have shot him to make it look like a suicide. There are all sorts of theories. Well, this is interesting. Courtney Love's lawyer at the time had sent a letter, and this is shortly after the investigation, sent a letter to the Seattle Police Department, which had jurisdiction, saying that they wanted the entire file sent over to Courtney and that the police should not retain any copies of this police report. That is bizarre. It's something the police would never do. I mean, the idea that the police department would basically scrub any evidence of its investigation and give everything to Courtney Love. You got to wonder, A, why they would ask. Well,
I know why they were asking them, because she felt at the time that she was happy with how the investigation went. She believed it was a suicide,
right,
and she had worries that people in the department were leaking documents, leaking pictures. So this was her way of trying to protect personal things in the document being leaked to the media or leaked to people. That was her reasoning behind it. I mean, I guess it seems a little sketchy, but also the police would never do this. Obviously, they didn't. You know, they kept the records.
But the fact that they requested it is bizarre to me, because you know the police aren't going to do that. So it's almost like you are erasing any evidence of how the police reached the conclusion they did. And it's like, it's one thing if she wants a copy. And yeah, I mean, you know, she was worried that people might profit off of this thing. I get it. But the idea that a lawyer would think that the police department would scrub that.
I've never heard of anyone ever ask. I mean, I've heard of them obviously wanting the files, but to not keep any copies? I've never heard of that being requested ever.
And the police obviously said no. And they denied the request, as they denied the request of the photographs that they had taken at the crime scene. But this thing has not gone away, and there are groups out there that
why do you think people think it's not a suicide? It seemed to me, I've seen the documents and I've read everything, and it seems pretty open and shut that it was a suicide.
It is an interesting read if you start looking at some of the holes in this case that people have raised.
Yeah, our chat is saying they got really into like conspiracy theory videos, documentaries about
this.
This
is what is causing the conspiracy theories.
No, to some extent, but I'm telling you, if you read some of this stuff, there are unanswered questions in this case.
Yeah.
It smells like a lot of conspiracy, and you just got to wonder, what is the reason for this ongoing dialogue that's been happening for, gosh, the guy's been dead for over 30 years. And my heart goes out to Courtney and even his daughter, who really didn't even get a chance to know her father. But what is very curious to me is the fact that she would request all of the documentation. In no world does that make sense. So I'm aligned with you there, Harvey. Certainly an outrageous demand to have all of the files and leave law enforcement with zero documentation.
Yeah.
But certainly I can see where she would want some degree of privacy.
Yeah, and that's fair.